Today we'll proceed with the series we started on percentages. We'll continue with the profit and loss. Let's look at the first example. A boy sold an article and made a loss of 8%. If he had sold it for $12,000, he would have made a profit of 15%. How much did he sell the article? How much did he sell the article? Now, if you have a question like that, the first thing you should calculate, since you were told that he sold that article, he made a loss of 8%. But if he had sold it for $12,000, that means he didn't sell it for $12,000. He sold it for less than $12,000. That is why he made a loss. So the first thing that should come to your mind is that what you are looking for, the amount he sold that article, is definitely less than what 12,000. So if you calculate and you get something above 12,000, you should know automatically that your answer is wrong. So the first thing I'll need to calculate is the cost price. The cost price that will make me to sell this article for 12,000 and make a profit of 15%. So let's see how we solve a question like that. Percentage loss is 8%. Percentage loss is 8%. Actual selling price not given. So you can say let's actual selling price. Let's call that SP1. Okay, let's let the actual selling price be SP1. Or you can just use a simple variable. Let's say Y. Let the actual selling price be what? Y. Now you were told that he sold it, if he had sold it for 12,000, he would have made a profit of what? 15%. So let's assume selling price now, which is 12,000, down is 12,000. If you had sold it for this, then you would have made a profit of 15%. So now let's calculate the cost price. Remember, profits is selling price minus cost price. So the profit will be 15% now. We made the selling price, which is this 12,000, minus the cost price, minus the cost price. So that the percentage profit here the profits all over cost price times 100 over 1. Percentage profit is 15. Profit is 12,000 minus the cost price, all over the cost price, which is not given, times 100 over 1. So, the next thing I'll do at this point is to cross multiply. To cross multiply, we have CP multiplying what 15. That will give us what 15 what CP. Then you can open this word brackets. If we do that, this is this part now. We'll get the cross multiply. We'll have 15 CP equals cross multiply, then open the bracket, 100 multiplying 12,000. That 0 minus 100 CP. So what I'll do from here, is to collect the like terms, transfer the 100 CP, that's minus 100 across the equality. If minus 100 crosses the equality, it becomes plus 100. So if I transfer across the equality, I'll get 15 CP plus 100 CP equals 12. 1, 2, 3, that's 5 zeros now. So this one will give us 115 CP. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now divide both sides by 115. So I'll get CP equals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 divided by 115. So when you divide this one, you should get to give us 10,434.78. Okay, so that gives that's the cost price. You can actually divide that using your calculator. So now that we've obtained the cost price, remember I told you that that should be less than what? The 12,000 naira, which was the selling price that gave a profit of what 15%. So now that you have obtained the cost price, the next thing you need to do is to calculate what the selling price. Remember that you are looking for the selling price that gives a loss of what 8%. So now let's proceed now. Having obtained the cost price and I know the loss is 8%, I can now calculate what the selling price. So let's proceed. So now we're looking for the selling price, which is Y. Then the loss, the percentage loss is 8%. Percentage loss is 8%. So remember, we are going to make use of the formula for percentage loss, which is loss of our cost price times 100 over 1. So percentage loss being 8% now. Percentage loss being 8%. And the loss. Remember, loss is what? Cost price minus what? Selling what price. So I'll get cost price minus selling price. The cost price is 10,434.78 minus the selling price, which is Y, all over the cost price, which is 10,434.78, then times 100 over 1. So at this point, what I'll do is to cross multiply. I'll cross multiply. For cross multiply, we have 8 times 10,434.78 equals this one up here, 10,434.78 minus y times 100. So we multiply this one. Times 8. That was 83, 478.24. So now we can open the brackets here now. You open the brackets. You have 10,434.78 minus 100y. So transfer the 100y across, then take this one across the equality by collecting the like terms. So I'll get 100y now equals 10,434.78 minus 83,478.24. So we get 100y equals, let's subtract that now. Then 43478 minus 83478.24. So that was 95. $959.76. So the next thing I'll do now is to divide both sides by 100. We divide both sides by 100. We divide both sides by 100. We get y equals 959. 999.76 over 100. So that gives the value of y as 9599.9976. So if you approximate this one, approximate this, you get an approximate value of 9600. 9600. That becomes what? The selling world price. So now you see that that selling price, which is 9,600, is below what the cost price. And that is why we were told that it made what? A loss. It made a loss of what? 8%. Now you can actually check to know if your answer is correct or wrong by using the formula for calculating what percentage was loss. Since you know it made a loss of 8%, then I know why my loss becomes what? The cost price here, which is this, minus this selling price now. All over the cost price times 100 over 1. You calculate that to see whether you arrive at what 8%. If you arrive at 8%, then you know your answer is what correct. But if you arrive at something less than that, then you know your answer is what wrong. Okay? So, that is the way to solve a question like this. Let's see another example. Let's see example 2. Example 2. A boy sold an item and made a profit of 12%. To start. If he had sold it for 15,000 naira, he would have made a loss of 4%. So stop. How much did he sell the item? Now this one is similar to the last one we did, so it's the same approach except for the fact that this time we made a profit. But if you had sold it for 15,000, we would have made a loss of 4%. So this time around, since you were told you made a profit, the first thing that should come to your mind is that what you are looking for will be higher than 15,000. So if you had sold it for 15,000, we would have made what? A loss. But since you made a profit, that means the answer is going to be more than 15,000 naira. So if you calculate and get something below 15,000, that means that your answer is wrong. So let's see how we approach that question. Solution. Now let the selling price we are looking for, let the selling price be y. Percentage profit is what? 12. Percentage profit is 12. But if you are sold it for 15,000, so let's say you are sold for 15,000, that made a loss of 4%. Now, percentage loss is loss over cost price times 100 over 1. The percentage loss is 4%. The loss, you have sold for 15,000, would have made a loss. So the selling price is 15%. So the loss is cost price minus the selling price. All over the cost price, that's what I'm actually looking for, times 100 over 1. If it is profits, then the selling price minus what cost price. But since the loss is cost price minus what selling price, I gave you that formula in our previous class. If you have not watched that video, that will be part 1 of percentages, profit and loss part 1. So let's cross multiply. We cross multiply, we have 4 multiplying CP, so we get 4 CP equals, we open a bracket, we have 100 CP minus 15,000, then double 0. So what I'll do from here is to collect like terms, transfer this 100 across. So transfer the 4 across, take this one to the other side of the equation. So we have 15. That will be equal to 100 CP minus 4 CP minus 4 CP. So, we subtract. Here have 15. Then we have 100 minus that. That was 96. So divide both sides by 96. We divide that. That will give us what? The cost price. So let's divide, let's see what we get. So that's value of the cost price. That will be 15,625. 15,625, which is more than what this selling price, yeah? So it's more than the selling price. That's why you were told that if you had sold it for 15,000, it would have made what? A loss. It would have made a loss. So that means the amount you sold it is more than 15,000. And definitely it's going to be more than 15,625. So the next thing I'll do now is to calculate the value of Y. Since we were told that it made a profit, so now I use the formula for percentage profit now. Percentage profits. That is profit over cost price now. Times 100 over 1. The percentage profit is 12. We made a profit of 12%. The profit is the selling price, which is Y. Profit is selling price minus cost price. The cost price is 15,625. All by the cost price is 15,625 times 100 over 1. Now cross multiply. If you cross multiply, you have 12 multiplying 15,625. 12 multiplying 15,625. If you cross multiply that now, cross multiply, you have 12 multiplying 15,625, and that will be equal to, we open the brackets, you have 100y minus 15,625, and I have double zero because of the 100 multiplying to open all the brackets. So now, okay, let's multiply 15,625 multiplied by 12. That was 187,500. 187,500. You have 100y minus 15,625,00. So we take this one across the equality. We have 18,7,500 plus 15,625,00 equal to 100y. So we add up that now. So we add up that, we get 1750 plus 100 of y. 1875. Let's just check that. 1562500. Okay, so that's correct. So, the next thing I'll do now is to divide both sides. Divide both sides by 100. We divide both sides by 100. These two zeros will cancel these two. We're left with 17500 equals y. And that will be 17,000. That will be 17,500. So he sold it for $17,500. And that was why I was able to make what? A profit. Because the 17,500 is greater than the cost price, which is 15,625. So anytime you have a question of this form, just apply the simple rules which we've done in part 1 of this series. And you'll be able to solve any question under profit and loss. Okay, if you have any question on this, you can send it to me via my WhatsApp number, +23480 368 55152.